Thank you, Nurun. Now I shall proceed with the problems of media representation of Islam and Muslims. Generally, we should understand that anti-Muslims discourse arose from these two events, which are 1. The Iranian Revolution in 1979, which is a conflict between US and Iran, and Iran, as a way to show their power, took about 444 United States citizens and diplomats as hostage. And 2. The 9/11 attack. However, what are the main impacts of anti-Muslim discourse? 1. It creates the us versus them dynamic, in which there is an intersection between the West and Islam. Although it is a fact that some Muslims come from the West. Next, it can be seen that there is an increase in researches done about Muslim discrimination between the year 2000 until 2015. This proves that this issue succeeds in alienating Muslims until people do research about this issue. And lastly, Muslims are stereotyped worse than other minority groups. And according to Ahmad and Mathis, this is actually caused by white supremacy. Said concluded that the new media portrays Islam and Muslims as the worst if compared to other minorities such as the Jews, Africans, and Asians. Now, let's discuss the problems with the representation of Islam and Muslims in the new media. 1. Misrepresentation of Islam, in which Islam is seen as an oppressive religion and Muslim women are seen as trapped. New media also deems Muslims as a threat to society. Next, the misrepresentation of Muslims. Generally, Muslims were portrayed as extremists and are a clash between civilization and culture. As for Muslim women, they are seen as victims of their own choices, as they choose to stay and follow Islam. In certain cases, Muslim women were suggested to not be a part of the progressive sphere. Another problem would be how the new media promotes Islamophobia. And this can be seen via constant anti-Muslim discourse about Sharia law, jihad, and the halal issue. It is understood that there could be misunderstanding. However, they continue to have this anti-Muslim discourse to paint Islam in a bad light. This actually results to Muslims staying away from the society. And lastly, the rise of Islamophobia. Islamophobia is actually deemed as new racism, in which it is directed against culture or even the looks of Muslims. For example, Sikhs are often attacked because they look Muslim. What could be the possible solutions for these problems? But first, I would like to quote Tina Fey, in which she said, "Whatever the problem, be part of the solution. Don't just sit around raising questions and pointing out obstacles." This is related to what I will be discussing because we should always find solution for the problems instead of just talking about the problem. Some of the solutions include 1. A change in dialogue. 2. To create alliances with other minorities. 3. To utilize the legal system. And 4. To work with the media. Now, I will elaborate the solutions. 1. A change in dialogue. This solution is actually important in combating the anti-Muslim discourse in new media. Of course, it can be initiated by the big powers in media, such as the United States of America or European countries, or of course, by the Muslims themselves. 2. A solution would be by creating alliances with other minorities. By creating an alliance with other minorities, they can advocate for Islam and Muslims in time of need. 3. Muslims should utilize the legal system. Given that sometimes free speech is abused, Muslims can opt to use the legal system and sue people who spew hate speech online. They can also sue media outlets who promote anti-Muslim discourse. Last but not least, Muslims can work with the media. Because what better way to fight the new media than collaborating with the media itself? This action is important in diminishing prejudice and promote advocacy. Lastly, I will talk about the conclusion that we get from this topic. Generally, misrepresentations can happen in the new media, and we should work together as combating these misrepresentations take a lot of effort. We should also remember from the Quran, in which Allah said, "We created you from a single pair of a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, that you may know each other. Verily, the most honored of you in the sight of God is he who is the most righteous of you." This proves that we should know one another without prejudice. That is all from us. Thank you. Feel free to ask us any question.